Tell my story. Mine's kind of boring. You get tired of it, so I go fast. I talk fast, so listen fast. You can slow the camera down later, maybe. But I want to share a couple of concepts too on story architecture and on thought stewardship. Because you said like past and regrets and that kind of thing, so I'm going to hit on that. Is that cool?
Great.
So my story is I've been at Chick-fil-A 26 years. I went to the University of Georgia, got a degree in MIS, one of the first business MIS degrees out of there, and finished and went to work for Arthur Anderson Consulting, did IT consulting. Chick-fil-A was a client, and as I did the work here in '92, got asked to come on board. So Buck McCabe hired me, and I was the manager of special projects for Buck, and then ended up leading IT from '94 to 2009. And the IT chapters, as I described the IT chapters, are phase one was kind of build systems for the enterprise to scale to $1 billion. That was Dan's vision. We were at 350 million when we started, so he wanted to triple in about 8 years, and we did, thanks to Jimmy's leadership. And then the second phase was in restaurant. Like, y'all been here like since we put computers in, but there used to be no computers in the stores. That's the operator bought their own computer, and used to mail paper here. The network was the U.S. Postal Service, and there was no internet. There was no, Google, Chrome browsers. There was no like World Wide Web. There was no real cell phones were in a bag, and they were analog. They were really loud, and so that was where we started this whole thing. And so automating things in the stores and going to touchscreen registers and going to the iPad systems and tying things in so we could manage things better was all that part of that second journey. And then the third phase was going to be customer-facing systems. Like, how do you help customers serve themselves and order themselves and interact with them and market to them differently? And so I was pushing that from IT, which is under finance, and marketing didn't really see it and didn't care about it. And so I kept pushing, kept attacking hard, and finally they get so frustrated they just moved me over to marketing. And so I left IT to Mike Erbrick. He was ready, he took over, and that was in 2009. And I'd just been working on Centerline Kitchen. That was my project to help facilitate the production throughput team. So I did a lot of different things beyond IT. So in marketing, I started with customer experience, did some international work, dealt with a little issue in 2012. Back to my direct style. I mean, 2012 happened, no one wanted to touch it. It was like a real hot potato. And so
So for 2012, can you just...
This is Dan Cathy's comments against gay marriage that ended up igniting a public relations firestorm, really. And no one wanted to deal with it here. It was kind of really tearing the brand apart, the family apart. And so I just pressed into it and helped us kind of navigate through that. And that's when I got confidence from the family. I think that everyone else stepped back, I stepped forward and jumped into that. That helped me kind of get this job, I think, is I had that kind of courage to, or foolishness to push in there. But that was in 2012, and I got named to this role in 2015 or 2014. It was Orlando in 14 when they announced successors for Bud and Steve. So along there, I went back and got a master's in marketing. I never got my master's. I wanted that, so I did that in 2011. So that's kind of my career history. Married to Amy for 30 years. We just celebrated 30th anniversary. Went to Italy last month.
Nice. Awesome.
Had an awesome trip. Got two girls, Hillary and Mary Grace. Hillary's 26. She was born the day I got my offer from Jimmy here.
Oh yeah.
So long story there, but yeah. I was up all night long in the hospital because Amy was in preterm labor and she was born early. And then she was born at 11 a.m. I went home, got a shower, and came here for my interview with Jimmy. And no sleep. So it was a good day. It was a good day. And then Mary Grace we adopted when she was 10 days old. We adopted her from family in South Georgia. So long story there, but and then my oldest, he just got married back in May. So had a lot of stuff happening this year related to that. We moved across town. Our kids left us, so we moved out of our house and moved to an empty nester phase.
So are you in this side of town?
And we're in Vinings. I was in Peachtree City for 20 years. We moved to Vinings, which is between my parents and work and downtown, kind of the right location for all that. So that's my story. Not too exciting, but I'm kind of a change agent. I'm kind of a futurist. I kind of think about the future a lot. I think about like my why at Chick-fil-A is to prepare us for the future. I'm 54, soon to be 55 years old. We got like 10 years left before I have to retire. at 65 we got to retire as officers. And so I've kind of charted out my course to make sure that before I leave here, this brand is ready for what's next. And Andrew's got good choices to pick from for my successor. So I'm already thinking about my successor now. I'm grooming them right now. I've got multiple candidates that we're trying to build, so it's not a scramble and not a surprise. So, because I want it to be like John Who, like nobody misses me. That's my goal. So, as the future, so think about where we're going as a brand, think about where we're like what we need to do next. So let me go to that this thought stewardship piece.
Sure.
Yeah, what are you thinking about? And so I like to draw pictures, so just bear with me on this. And it works.
Somebody's been drawing a lot.
There you go. All right. So this is called the 2x2 matrix. So each one of these quadrants I think is important and can be useful, and but I think you should bias towards one of these. So what are past positive thoughts? I call this the nostalgia quadrant. Like today we celebrated people that retired after 20, 30, 40 years. Got great memories with them, grand openings we did together and trips we took together and people we hired and people we met. So it's okay to spend time in the past and positive, like think nostalgia. But don't like wish for it so much that you get stuck back there. Like the good old days, let's go back to that. Some folks here want to go back to the way we used to do it. Well, we can't, because we're 10 times as big. We can't do it anymore. Don't be stuck in the past. Back here is the regret piece, Tony. Like things in your past that are negative are things you wish you hadn't done, like mistakes. And this is where Satan wants to keep you. He wants to like beat you down and say you're a failure. You did permanent damage to people. You're like such a loser. And he wants you to feel horrible about yourself here. Over here in future positive is worry. Like what might go wrong? Like what if I can't find a job one day? What if I get a degree and I can't find it? What if I lose my job? What if my kids get sick? What if? And then here, this quadrant, I call this kind of the dream or the vision piece. And this is where I try to spend my time. I think all four of these are good. You want to be thankful for the memories. You want to learn lessons about things to avoid in the future. Like what are your weaknesses? What are your challenges? What should you be careful about? You want to manage risks. Like if my house might burn down, well, buy fire insurance and put a smoke alarm in, and you're done. Quit worrying about it. Like you've dealt with it. And don't this worry is using your imagination for negative consequences. And so Satan wants you to like be stuck down here. Like a lot of moms worry about being a good mom. You know, can I take care of my kids? My kids be healthy. Am I going to have my kids be ready for the future? They just get stuck down here. You know, and there's so much pressure, so much Facebook comparison. Am I the perfect mom or not? But just try to bias towards this. Like spend time on all four of them, but bias towards that. So, that makes sense?
Yeah.
What are you reading and thinking about? Where are you letting your fantasy life go? Those are all things that you're choosing to do. And thoughts, there's a chain of thoughts lead to beliefs, which lead to like decisions and actions, which lead to kind of your future self. So,
That's good.
is that too deep? Am I messing you guys up?
I imagine the only way you were
Now
able
I'm
to
thinking.
We gotta record it,
now I'm
though.
like, oh man.
I imagine the only way you were able to come up with this is because you stayed in that dream vision.
Yeah.
Well,
Or is it because you
2x2 is a grid I use in consulting days. It's always good, useful for like putting these juxtaposed axes together. And so what happens in each four of those? That's a tool used for a lot of stuff. Thought stewardship. I mean, think about like a man's thought life. Like you ever read Every Man's Battle, that book, that old book. It's like Morley or somebody. It's every man deals with like sexual temptation. Like well, it starts with what you look at, right? And that leads to like things you dream about and things you do. Like no one like plans to have an affair, but it's like they start up here with things they think they can play with. Like being intentional about like your thought life, like letting your thoughts take you somewhere. And building systems. Okay, I'm enough time in nostalgia. Let's fit back to the future. Where am I going next? I'm naturally wired to be futuristic, and it's easier for me. But I'm trying to make sure it's like I've done future visions for my kids, I think like in 5-year chunks. Like when my daughter was a freshman in high school, 5 years she'll be in college. I want her to learn how to drive and navigate herself, manage a checkbook, have spiritual maturity in some areas. Like I wrote those kind of things out. So I think about like end states for different areas. I have a dream car list. I can get into that if you want me to.
Yeah, sure.
And I have
talk about it.
Oh, you've lost
yeah.
all
So
the
I mean,
ladies.
so rather than like, I just get excited about the future, you know. So
So just name one dream car.
the car I would like to buy next is a Kirkham Cobra, which is a all aluminum AC Cobra replica built by these guys in Utah. That and I found one I could do. And you would shoot me, so it's like, you know, I have regrets.
Yeah, we should- I spent that
It would
money.
create regrets for me. So no, it's brushed aluminum.
Oh, brushed. The whole thing's.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
got
I'll
you.
show you. I'll show you.
I know what you're talking about.
So that's my thought stewardship lesson. That I don't know. I think this is just a tool.
So you said you think you kind of are wired to go that way. So when you're not there, or for people that might not be wired there,
Well, I think there's spiritual matters, right? This whole letting Satan drive you and like negative thing. Like, okay, so figure out the systems you need to build to get out of that. Like, is it people you need to hang out with? Is it scripture you need to read? Is it books you need to read? Conferences to go to? You know.
So it's like really what's causing you to have those negative thoughts, or what's forcing you to think in that manner, and just
Yeah.
trying to change your surroundings, or
Yep. Yes,
One of the
sir.
things that I have a question about, I think I've tended to be kind of in the same mind as you, is like, I can't wait for 5 years from now, or like, I can't wait for this to happen. But what happens is, then you're not content. And I think there's a balance, because it's not good to be like so content that you don't want to grow, or you don't.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think it's like almost where if you're unhappy about your circumstances now, how do you do that
Just-
from being somebody that's
To me, I kind of like compartmentalize. Okay, have I done all I can do to take progress in that direction?
yeah.
So have I done the steps I need to do to think about that and get there? And I have so many different frontiers in my life. I can hit this one for a while and then hit that one. I can't just like obsess on one of them.
Right.
So
yeah, kind of piggybacking off that question, how do you keep from creating a sense of anxiety within yourself, or just
well, I'm kind of
living in the
ADD.
moment?
Amy will tell you I'm kind of a spaz.
That's okay.
And so having some downtime is good. Having some like. Y'all don't need meditation at all? Like there's a big buzz on that right now. I've not done it yet, but like Tim Ferriss is a guy I read a lot. He's big into it. So people here are doing it, but it's like basically like start your day with some quiet time, right? Read a proverb, which I did this morning. Just like go slow down, get away, like have some no media times, that you break free from that. To really think deeply. There's another book that I've read in this regard called Deep Work. By Cal somebody. Talks about the myth of a 5-minute interruption. Like if you're in the flow state of working, a 5-minute interruption costs you an hour at least. So that's an example of how, like structuring some of that deep work and some of that focus time. And just pray for wisdom on what to focus on.